Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, we should be online most places. I'm not going to worry about that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And if you can't, let me know. We'll get started in a couple minutes, you guys. Check sound, right? It's coming through the other side, so let's go to YouTube, shall we? I'm just going to check channel, see if I have sound coming out. Oh, actually, let me do it over here. Oh, good. We have music. Okay, that's good. Hopefully you hear a little funk in the background. And in just a couple minutes, I'll start talking about what we're here about today. Let's go back here. Okay, how is it going, you guys? Welcome. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching this, whether it's live right now or if you're watching the replay. I thought I'd come on and talk a little bit about the course I'm launching on October 18th called New Skills for Professional Work, and answer some of the questions that I'm getting about the course and kind of celebrate here at the end of the day in Chicago, 5:30. I know out in California you guys are probably just taking an afternoon break. Well, do that. Make some tea, grab a biscuit or a nice scone from one of those local bakeries, and sit back and check out what I'm talking about today, answering some of your questions, and go ahead and put one of your own questions in there. So I have some already prepared, but that I've been getting through emails and in response to my prior notifications of the launch of the course. But this live is about hoping some people join me either on YouTube or Facebook. I think I'm also on Twitter. I turned off Twitch because I don't have any followers over there. But to answer some of your questions. And I will also be posting this video on LinkedIn afterwards so that anybody who gets most of their media or great content from LinkedIn, you can see it over there as well. So, what is going on? Who am I? I'm Chris Conley. I have been in the human-centered design, innovation, design thinking space for my whole career. Immodestly, I like to say that I help develop the field. I have hundreds of students who are now colleagues. I used to teach at the Institute of Design in Chicago, helped build the product design graduate program there in human-centered design, and helped build the first PhD program. Just wonderful memories from many, many years of working with students and my colleagues on doing research into human-centered design, contributing to the field, creating new methods and approaches. And then I also founded a company called Gravity Tank. And that company grew for many years, slowly, never fast. And we eventually ended up selling to Salesforce. But the premise of that company and the premise of my academic work and the premise of Abundant Professional now is to foster a more creative, effective, collaborative, tangible way of working that uses human-centered design strategy, research in more tangible, creative, and accessible ways so that you as a professional can work on projects like this and be more effective. And I do fundamentally believe that these skills are fundamental to any professional project work. I've worked across all sectors and industries for the most part. And I mean, our firm did a project in mining, and our crew was going down into a mine to better understand the user experiences, how they did things so that new products, new services, new employee support programs could be created. So it's been the application of these skills and tools to every industry. And so I'm really excited about bringing them to the world on a bigger scale now, hopefully, through Abundant Professional and this platform. And then October 18th, I am launching a course. And let me bring it up here where you can see the URL. Just go to abundantprofessional.com. You can type in the rest of this URL, or you can just go to the homepage and click on the link up at the top to get to the landing page that tries to do a good job of describing the course and helping you understand what I'm trying to do. Now, this is the first time I'm launching it. I do thankfully can report I have registrations, and it probably won't be a large cohort. It never is when you first launch, but that means anybody who does sign up for this is going to get a great experience as we explore these ideas together. And so today what I wanted to do is come on and answer some of the questions I've been getting, answer any questions I get live, and take 20 minutes here at the end of the day in Chicago with you to talk about a few things about the course. And I'm going to look over here every once in a while. This is where I have my notes and live stream comments. So I see Whalecat Garden is here. Hey, Whalecat. Joining us from YouTube. Thank you for joining. I will try to figure out who you are afterwards and how you heard about this, but welcome. Love it. If you're here to ask any questions about the course, feel free to do so, but otherwise, just enjoy. Okay, so let's get right into it, should we? The first question, I have my notes in front of me, is oh, there you go. Thanks, Doug. Great to have you here. And if you're watching, thanks for coming too. So now the audience is growing, so that's awesome. Appreciate you guys. So the first question is, what's the basic premise of the course and how will it benefit me? That is a great question. So the basic premise of the course is kind of how I opened up the video, which is there are skills that come out of human-centered design, but also other disciplines, including more traditional design, including anthropology, including behavioral economics, including even business. But that the way we approach those topics and the way we use them can be used by any professional. You don't have to be an expert in that field, but you can learn principles, behaviors, and methods that make your professional work much stronger, much more effective, and ultimately more enjoyable and meaningful, because you're doing the best work of your career. You're doing it with people who you grow relationships with, and your career advances because your work's going to stand out when you start using these skills and methods. So the basic premise of the course is really based right now on about 6 pillars, and I'll bring those in here one by one. So the first one is all about people. And, people encompasses a lot of topics, and I'm trying not to overstuff the burrito, as we say, when we try to share our knowledge and create a course that, in this case, is only 5 weeks long. But people, I feel, is relating to people, working well with people, learning from people are 3 of the areas that I'm really going to cover in this course. And I think it is a huge unlock in your professional work when you can relate to people well, when you can learn from them, and when you can collaborate with them in a productive way. So just thinking about that, think about how many times you get frustrated in a meeting because you don't feel like you made progress. It was a whole hour, nothing happened, and you're frustrated because why do we do that? It was just an update meeting, it's a whole hour wasted. Or you get into a meeting and you try to work on something and it turns into just an argument or back and forth, and you leave and there's not good new direction, there's not really insight, and there's not really a feeling of moving forward. How about learning from people? I think this whole notion that, who should we really talk to in this case, and getting really specific about who might have expert knowledge or the answers, when you kind of flip that around and realize that the impact on your project can come from almost anyone, and that the whole key is to kind of reach out to a variety of people and include them in the project, you start unlocking a lot more insight about what your project's about. So people, the whole notion of people is going to be the way we kick off this course. It's understanding how to build rapport with each other, how to appreciate each other, and really look at people as an amazing person to get to know, an amazing person to learn from. And I'm really, should I say, I'm a lifelong practitioner of this, and that is to engage with people, hear about what their aspirations are, what crazy hobbies they have, kind of dig into why they love to do what they do, and just that aspect of getting into other people's interests and knowledge will help you in your professional work with them, and it will open up new knowledge, new insights, and great collaboration. Okay, I have to be careful not to talk too much about each one of these because we'll be here until 8 o'clock, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so what else do we have? Let's go to the second one, being tangible. I'm going to go through these more quickly. So being tangible is all about getting out of being overly verbal. Most of our professional work is verbal, email, PowerPoint decks with bullet points, conversation, argument, etc. And it's not that verbal isn't important, but we over-index on verbal use. So how can we be more visual? How can we experience things more? And that's actually do things and experience things to learn from them or to give us insight about our project. And then how can we prototype or build things to learn from? And that's what being more tangible is about. So maybe this is a good time to say, any of these areas, I'm kind of mentioning the things I'm going to be talking about, and as a professional and a practitioner, you're probably very familiar with a lot of these ideas. So the key is, in a course like this, I'm probably not sharing anything new at the high level of being more tangible or work better with people. But as we explore it in the class, you're going to talk about a latest example or a particular area that you might say, oh, I'm in this field or I'm in this sector, and we can't be visual. There's not really a way to do that. Our stuff is all intangible. We can't be more tangible. That's where we're going to uncover, hey, there's really better strategies. There's ways of looking at this that go deeper than you currently are practicing. And then the second part is, how do we get other people in our organization to do more of that? So being tangible. Third one, learning fast. This is all about project research and not entering a problem or a project and thinking, going straight to answers, but actually doing 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of research with a lowercase r in a more systemic way, in a more holistic way, to better understand what's really going on. And this is what this area is all about, is understanding what's really happening, the word on the street, what people really do, not what's in the procedure manual. Again, an area that most professionals are way too narrow in what they look at when they go to solve a problem. And that's what we'll be talking about and strategizing on in learning fast. All right, framing direction. Framing direction is all about taking the results of your research, which will have many more topics, many more areas you could pursue, and figuring out how to create a point of view about what you learned that will guide and direct the problem solving and the creativity of the ideas and solutions you want to shape. So framing direction, highly unexplored area of professional work. One of my early mentors used to say, hey, it's about cutting cubes out of fog. And I think that really characterizes what framing is. It's really about shaping a narrative and a point of view about what matters. And in this time, what we're going to prioritize and how we're going to go after this problem. Doesn't mean it can't change, but at least you're starting with a direction. So that's framing direction. Let's go to the next one. How long have I taken you here? We got probably going on 15 minutes now, right? Shaping solutions. Okay, shaping solutions is all about getting out of the mindset of a single idea and actually bringing multiple ideas together to have a more robust solution. Again, how do you get your colleagues to understand this notion that it isn't about debating singular ideas, but actually bringing multiple ideas together to shape a solution? How do you architect a solution? And we're going to be more visual in this area, using bubble diagrams or multiple alternatives to visualize, hey, we could approach this problem differently. And of course, in shaping solutions, we're prototyping things. How do you prototype intangible things? How do you communicate to your colleagues in an organization that making a version of what they're talking about will really help us understand the impact of it? I had a PhD student who was doing their research on the value of early prototyping before, long before you're in pre-production and really design of it. And what are those aspects what aspects do you learn about when you're prototyping? So we'll cover that. And then finally, communicating value. And this goes everything from, hey, what's the value of the work we're doing or of the solution and how do we advocate for it, but also communicating value of this type of work to your colleagues in leadership so that they are more likely to begin adopting. You are going to get more permission or more resources or support to actually move this work forward in your organization. So a couple different dimensions of communicating value that will hopefully benefit you. So those are the areas that we're talking about. I'm going to pull those off now. and go to the second question, which is, who is this for? Who is this class really for? Is it entry-level professionals? Is it for experienced professionals? And from what I can tell you so far, from the feedback I've been getting, the questions I've been getting, is that we're going to have very much experienced professionals in this class. A couple of the early registrants are rock stars, very much accomplished. They're familiar with these skills and techniques. They've been practicing them, but they're also interested in exploring in this cohort with us together. How do you do this in an organizational context, in this sector? Here's what I'm trying in this particular group. And so I think you should think about what we're working on in kind of three different levels. One is just refreshing your professional awareness of a number of these principles, behaviors, mindsets. Two, very specific examples that bring things alive and help you think more broadly or think creatively or be inspired by how you might do things in a new way, even if you're experienced. And then third, being with a cohort that's exploring together and being able to pursue questions and ideas that come up in this cohort about practicing these methods, building more capability in your organizations or with your clients that you're working with. So there's a lot to be gained from taking this course and being in it. I think of it much more as a graduate seminar than a online course where you're going to get exposed to the ideas. So for example, a lot of the people I spend time with are experienced practitioners. They have gone through IDEO's courses and they're like, I get that, but I want to push my practices farther. I'm asking some more nuanced questions about deploying these skills in practice. I'm looking for ways to understand these in a different way than I have heard from kind of the mainstream ideas around design thinking, human-centered design. And so I think you're going to find that this course is not at all entry-level practitioners, but much more a group of like-minded, experienced professionals exploring the ideas together. Okay. I kind of answered this next one as well. I've been practicing human-centered design and wondering if this will be mostly sharing similar techniques and approaches. So I think I just answered that. No, I never know what you guys have been exposed to, and I'm going to share those things, but it's going to be with an eye of your experiences, your level, your feedback. In fact, when you register for the course, there's a place for putting in what topics you want to cover, what angle you want to come at this content with. So this is not an entry-level course by any means, from what I can understand of who's signing up for it. So please consider this if you are an experienced professional and want to have a great experience over 5 weeks with a cohort of very talented people. So that leads me to this next question of what is the schedule? What is the schedule? So we're going from October 18th to November 19th, I believe, but it's basically 5 weeks of meeting 2 evenings or late afternoons a week, depending on where you are. So we'll get started, I think, at 6 p.m. Chicago time. That's going to be late afternoon California time, 4 p.m., and then 7 o'clock Eastern time. And I picked that time because it's kind of like, when I first started my career in teaching, I taught in the business school, and a lot of my courses that I taught were in the evening. So it's kind of the idea that you guys all have your daily work that you're going to be getting done, and you're going to have your work in your day, and then you're going to have kind of a breath of fresh air and relief to come to an evening class where you can work on yourself, where you can work on your own ideas about new professional skills, these different areas, and how you can drive them forward in your organization. So think of it more as an evening course after work. Obviously in California, I'm pushing it a little bit earlier. I didn't want it to get too late on the East Coast. So that's what we're doing, Tuesday, Thursday. And, depending on when everybody signs up, if there's a better day of the week, like if we want to do Monday, Thursday, that might be possible. But for now, it's Tuesday, Thursday. And then in between that, we have a forum that you can ask questions in 24/7. I will usually respond, not during the evening time or in the late night times, but every day I'll be in there answering your questions, talking about topics that came up at the last session. And it will be a fairly active content from me based on what you guys are asking in the cohort, what we experience in the live sessions and do afterwards. Okay, I just got a question coming in from Mr. Look. How is your course different from other training like General Assembly? Well, I have never taken a General Assembly class. What I can say about this is it's a cohort-based course, so we're live together. Hopefully I'm attracting like-minded professionals who are already quite thoughtful about these areas and are trying to make change in their organizations. I would assume, and this is probably a very bad assumption, that the General Assembly courses are a little bit more entry level, a little bit more practitioner of the skills themselves. And I think we will be practicing skills in this class. We are going to, I might say something about, let's reflect on and talk about these aspects of building rapport with others. And I have a little 5-part framework for you. But building rapport with others, I'm not sure you've ever had in a design thinking course, a human-centered design course. It's more likely you'd have it in a professional development course that's more about interpersonal skills, interpersonal development, team development. So I would say I've never taken a General Assembly class, but I'm assuming that when I teach it, it's going to be a little bit more both insightful and practical. That's so immodest to say, but I think if I listen to the students and colleagues that I've worked with in the past, usually they say, Chris, I really like talking to you about the kinds of things I'm trying to do in these topic areas because you always give me new insights. You have an interesting example. You have a new way of thinking about it that gives me a way of moving forward. And I don't know if you get that in all classes when they're just trying to teach the basics of a skill or a discipline. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have more nuance about what a General Assembly course is about, happy to answer or respond to that. But thank you for that question. Appreciate you, Doug, making it interactive. And I see there are 4 or 5 people in here, so thanks for coming, whoever's showing up. I appreciate you guys. Doug's saying, plus you'll be able to share your wealth of real-life experience. Yes, you know what, Doug, you're a good coach. So I've been in this from day one. I was a undergrad and I got an internship at a firm that would go on to become Doblin and part of Monitor Group, and really an early innovator in the area of design thinking and innovation. And it's all I've ever practiced. And so I have hundreds and hundreds of students, hundreds and hundreds of clients, hundreds and hundreds of companies that I've been fortunate enough to work with over the years. And I truly believe that it's fortunate and an honor to serve clients in all these different areas, to go, educate students, but I really think cultivate their own talents, and that's how I think about it. So yeah, I got lots of case studies and experiences to share in response to nearly anything that you ask. So thanks for that. Awesome. Thank you for the little coaching there, Doug. That's good. Very good. Hey, is the music still on? I shouldn't have the music. Hopefully you can hear me. It looked like the music was still on, so I'm turning that down. All right. If anybody else is online and wants to ask a question, or just say hi, just say, hey, I'm here, nice to see you. Especially if you're a new viewer and aren't coming from kind of a recent or close relationship with me, I'd love to know your name or see what you're thinking about. Another question I'm getting quite frequently, and you kind of heard me talking about it, and with this I'll probably wrap up, is I'm interested in getting more of my colleagues to work this way. And will we address it in the course? And I've tried getting them working this way, but they're very happy with working in in their kind of old ways or the status quo, just how we've always done it. This is probably the biggest question I get, because currently I'm not working with dedicated design students or design thinking students as when I was teaching at the Institute of Design, where they know they're in this field, they're trying to build their skills, and then they're going to go out and find a job somewhere and hopefully practice. Now, in a course like this, we have people who are working, who are trying to spread these skills and build the capacity in their own organization. And it's a combination of trying to get the attention of people, that it's valuable to do it this way, that they will get more, they'll be more effective in their problem solving if they start working this way. They'll get more insights about clients, customers, patients, peers, other people in their organization if they work this way. And so we will be addressing this. I think this is going to be the foundational theme in the course, is building the capacity for others to do the work in the course, and strategies, ideas, and tactics for building the capacity. I'm really excited about this. I've given a few presentations over the years to big corporate groups about how do we get more of this to happen. And I've had that question from CEOs, and I have that question from not really entry-level staff, but mid-level staff who are working on a team or who are in charge of teams, and they have to work with others in the organization. It's a multidisciplinary world, let's face it. And so that question comes from anyone who is wanting to foster this kind of work. And listen, it comes from executives as well. They don't have a magic wand to get people to work this way just by declaring it necessary, because they are skills. They are mindsets. They are behaviors that kind of challenge how we've all been brought up in professional work, which is to be the smartest person in the room, to know the answer to things, to get to the solution quickly, to make quick decisions. All of those things are a little bit in contrast. But the problem is and you could say, well, we don't have, this is the common one, we don't have time to slow down and do the work this way. Well, in fact, if you look at the success of initiatives in organizations, they're highly failure prone. They peter out and just kind of go away when you don't get the results. They launch and fail miserably, where lots of money is wasted. And so you're not slowing down to do this work, you're just doing better work. And I can tell you that you can get a project done faster this way, because it doesn't rattle around inside your organization as you're trying to get traction. When you're tangible about things, you can make progress faster. When you prototype, you can make progress faster. And again, I got an email from a colleague a couple days ago who said, I know you're talking about this, these skills allow us to go faster, but there's this obsession in the business world right now, or most organizations, that we have to do things quickly. And yes, that is a real problem. But I think the distinction isn't between going fast and going slow. It's about what are the kinds of activities you're doing that allow you to make great progress on your project, high quality, move it along at a good pace, faster than if, again, your project just rattles around in the organization. You're frustrated by getting people involved. So we are going to deal with that in this course about doing the right kind of work, making it higher quality. And I just got another question in. Okay, here's one. Excellent. I love it. So, mathematic 0. Mathematic 0. Excellent. Hey, Chris, Bill here. How would this course look for someone who works in the government? It will look the same because everyone taking the course will have the same course, but not to be funny, it's the same thing in government now. Unless you're working in government and just processing TPS reports, you have projects that you have to make progress on. I don't know if you know of it, and I don't know if I can recall the name of the program, but there is a fellows program in the government now, and it was all about hiring hiring fellows that knew design thinking or human-centered design so that they could approach problem solving in a more human-centered, creative, and effective way in the government. And in fact, at the GSA, General Services Administration, I met a woman who was in charge of the civilian workforce, like the leader of the civilian workforce from an HR perspective. And they were building a human-centered design course to build these skills in the organization. That's not what this course is about in terms of teaching the basic skills, although, again, you'll hear about them in each one of these areas. We'll set a common framework or tone. But if you're in government work, you're in project work. And some of the most effective things you can do to break some of the challenges in governmental work is to be more collaborative with people, to go out and engage others in government in a way that they don't normally experience. And I think this is one of the great things about when you start practicing this way. People notice how you are practicing, and it makes them think, like, I really appreciate how you came out and helped us you listened to our input on that. Or you made this visualization or the diagram, or you put a big sheet of paper on the table and helped us talk about and work through these problems in a completely different way, breaking the convention of how we work every day through email and sending PowerPoints across. So if you're in government, I think this would be an awesome cohort to take. I would appreciate and really like to have someone who is in government in the course, just to show that whether it's healthcare, the government, high tech, a professional who's in between roles, which I'm getting some inquiries about, these are all great members to have as part of the cohort, and we're going to learn from each other. I think this is one of the things that we all get wrong, is that we think our industry is so unique compared to another in terms of how we do our work, how we do our project work. But this is professional knowledge work. It's not processing, and it's not deep technical expertise like coding a website. It's figuring things out at a level that all that technical work kind of happens afterwards. Now, that doesn't mean this isn't informed by technical work, but the way we move projects forward requires a different kind of problem solving that's a little bit higher level, but still visual, tangible, collaborative, negotiating value, prioritizing things. It's a kind of work that any professional needs when they pursue professional work. So hopefully that answers your question. Elematic, and I can see in the replay of the video, or the video that's about 30 seconds behind, how much I'm using my hands and waving around. So hopefully that's not too distracting to you guys. Okay, I was only going to be on for about a half hour, so I want to thank you for coming. Hopefully I've answered some of your questions. If you are interested and want to know more or want to stay on a contact list, go to abundantprofessional.com and either click at the link at the top that says the October 21st cohort, New Skills for Professional Work, or type in that link you see at the bottom of the screen, New Skills for Professional Work. Yeah, no problem, Elomatic. Nice to have you here. Thanks for coming. And if you could identify who you really are, maybe I don't know who you are, but it's great that you're here. I appreciate you. And remember that these are kind of the 6 pillars of what we're going over in the course, plus this notion of how to make this happen in organizations, how to build these skills in organizations, because that's what you're really trying to do, I know. And great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate you. And I will, okay, so anyway, one last thing. If you go to the website, you can always sign up and to keep on my email list and make sure you're alerted next time I go live to answer some questions. So look for that, and I'll probably teach 1 or 2 lessons before the course starts, just to give people a flavor of what it's about, and hope to see you in the future. All right, bye-bye. Thanks a lot.